So the name of this film, Bridge of Spies, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense until the very end of the film. So you kind of have to watch to make sense of the title, just for the record. Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my apartment. Now today, we're going to talk about the film Bridge of Spies. This is a film directed by Spielberg, whom I don't think has done a lot recently. He kind of does films here or there, but as far as I can remember, he hasn't done a lot of stuff recently. But this is a film starring Tom Hanks in the lead role as James Donovan, and it takes place during the midst of the Cold War between the U.S. and the Soviet Union, aka Russia. It takes place at generally the height of the Cold War in like the mid-1950s. And the main premise of this film is that the US captures a Russian spy, and then an American spy ends up in Russian hands. And so we have this little exchange going on, and Tom Hanks is going to end up being the lawyer of the Russian spy and try to ultimately exchange for the American prisoners, and that's what this movie is ultimately about. Tom Hanks delivers a very good performance in this film. He is a fantastic actor who I am rarely disappointed by, and he delivers another great performance, in my opinion. He really captures this feeling of not really knowing how to react to the situation that he's put into, but also having that sense of knowing that he is doing justice and he is trying to deliver justice and do the right thing to the furthest possible extent that he possibly can. And I really liked seeing that, and I felt that Tom Hanks really captured the essence of that character really, really well. More than anything though, this film really captures the tension which was just everywhere during the Cold War era, both on the American side and on the Russian side, because just in the first half of this film you see it mainly take place in America. You have people just hating on James Donovan for defending this Russian spy in court, and he's trying to get him as fair of a trial as physically possible. And you just have people just in Red Scare mode, basically, in that they are just in paranoia mode, and they see a Russian, it's like hang him and kill him without any context whatsoever to go along with that. And so, and you see that on the Soviet Union side as well, and it's a very interesting kind of duality that you see throughout this film, and it really captures what this era was. It was an era of fear, and you have two big sides playing with big weapons, and each one's afraid the other one's going to use it and wipe the other side out. That's what the Cold War era was in a nutshell, and yeah, it's really showcased here just how prevalent that fear was. But I digress. My only real issue with the film is that it does kind of feel like two different films. The first half of the film, like I said, takes place mainly in America and just kind of has some scenes which set up the second half of the film, which takes place in mainly East Berlin and just the negotiations which take place there. So it's Tom Hanks kind of in trial in the first half, and then being a global negotiator in the second half. So there's nothing that really flows per se very smoothly to kind of connect those two parts, as opposed to like just kind of a convenient event which forces him to continue doing this whole thing. So there is that small bit of it, but it is a biopic, so it is going to tell this ultimate story, and it probably was just too short to tell one story or the other, so it's like, okay, combine the two. I also like that they humanize the Russian spy. If this film had been made 30 years ago, they would have just demonized this person in film and shown him as just this evil character who's going to try to set up the Third World War. But no, they humanize the guy, and they show that there's good and evil on both sides of this whole conflict. You have people who have families who are doing essentially the same job on both sides. You have people spying on each other, Russian and American spies. You have people kind of doing the same thing in spite of the fear, and I really like how this movie just kind of humanize that aspect of it. You see this guy just as an artist. He is a drawer, and he has this family, which we see at one point. And I really like that aspect of the film. Like I said, if this film had been made 30 years ago, we would have seen none of that. They would have portrayed him as just this purely evil character, I think. And then ultimately, as this is a biopic, I always like it when they show what happened to the people. They're the main presences of this film after the events of the film. And we do get to see that. We see what happens to James Donovan, some of the prisoners which are exchanged, and I do enjoy seeing that aspect of it. And it kind of sets up, if this film is immensely successful, what could be kind of a sequel, because they kind of tell what James Donovan does go on to do after the events of this film. And I think that in itself could be a very interesting film to watch if it's done correctly. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed Bridge of Spies. It is paced very, very well. It is highly enjoyable. I was not bored really in any aspect of this film, except for maybe like the transition 5 minutes, which kind of connect the two pieces. But yeah, overall this is a very well made film, probably one of Spielberg's most entertaining films in quite some time. And yeah, I definitely highly recommend it. Tom Hanks gives a really well done performance. And yeah, go check it out if you're interested. But those are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like the film as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. And as always, remember people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.